my first prediction was that there was going to be more transactions in 2023 than 2022. Well, Steve, I was wrong. The second prediction, this is where I start looking really silly, is I predicted there was going to be a cut in the rate, Stephen, in Q3 2023.
You are wrong, Tom Storey, but I
was
think
wrong.
if you made that same prediction for next year, you might be right.
Welcome to the Tom Storey Show with Steve Karrasch and Tom Storey, where we discuss everything real estate or whatever else is on our minds.
Put my phone in airplane mode because for the next hour, Tom Storey is the only thing in my life.
Oh my God. Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the Tom Storey Show. If you are watching us on YouTube, let us know what you think of our outfit. Steve, can you explain to the audio listeners what you are currently wearing?
I'm wearing my 3-year famous, now only ugly sweater. I believe it's got, hang on, let me see. I think it has Santa in outer space riding a unicorn with a lightsaber. So
That's pretty cool.
I mean, that's not bad. And then I've got my reindeer antlers on.
I am wearing my only ugly Christmas sweater that I have. Shout out to my sister who made this several years ago. It's a green sweater with a stocking just sewed onto it in the middle. And the great thing, Steve, is that I've worn this to parties before, and it perfectly fits your beer right in the stocking at the top, and you can just walk around and still talk to people and have your hands free.
Do you do a cranberry sour beer at this time of year?
No, you know what? Sour beers for me are more of a summer thing. I'm not a winter sour beer guy. I'm a hot day sour beer kind of guy.
Let's see how it goes. Well, to me, your voice sounds slightly like maybe you used it a little bit too much recently.
I think so. I had my office Christmas party or holiday party last night.
Me too.
And I woke up feeling fine this morning, relatively fine. But what I've learned is I don't have it anymore. I can't do more than 2 drinks and go out and stay out till 1 a.m. I just don't have it.
I woke up at 3 a.m. thinking that I needed to text you and say we might need to record this at a different time.
So this is your Jordan flu game episode. You're going to power through and you're going to find your motivation and energy as we keep going here.
Merry Christmas, everyone.
Yeah. By the way, to the listeners, regardless if you celebrate Christmas or any other holidays, just hopefully you're having some time off right now. You're spending it with family and you're enjoying, the things that actually matter in life, like listening to the Tom Storey Show on December
Christmas Eve
4th.
What up? Yeah.
I'm thinking actually probably for 2024 to start. I'm going to do the sober January. I think that's a good way to start the year. I used to do that a lot, and I have such a productive month. So I think
that's almost a given now for me. December goes
you drink so much in December. Are you keeping the mustache into the new year, Steve? It's an ongoing concern. People are wondering what's going on with you.
I think the best Christmas present I could give my wife is to get rid of this thing. So maybe tomorrow morning I'll just wake up and shave it before she gets out of bed, and then that's the best gift you can give.
And if you're wondering what the best gift you can give this show, if you've been showing up every week and watching us, you can leave a like. Oh, you like that? You can leave a like on this video. You can subscribe to the channel. If you're listening on the audio platforms, you can go to Apple Podcasts and leave us a 5-star review. Now, Steve, I've got a long list of real estate specific topics that we're going to end off 2024 talking about. But just before we get to that, I have something way more important. Are you doing Elf on the Shelf with your kids?
No.
Because I feel like you would be very funny in finding out what the elf has gotten itself into every morning.
I say,
are they aware of it? Are they aware of it?
They are aware other people have them, but I'm not doing that crap.
No fun in Steve's house.
No.
Okay, all right.
No, man. Well, how about you?
No, my guy's 2. He has no idea what that
I saw the best one the other day. It was somebody took what was left over of their dinner, like rack of ribs, and they laid it out like Elf on the Shelf, and it said a note from Santa, "Thank you for the elf." It was delicious, and it's all it's all got like ketchup and blood everywhere all over the plate. That was something I'd do.
I saw one on Instagram of it was like the elf holding like scissors or hair trimmer. And it had like it had some hair in it, like a clump of hair. And then the dad comes in and he's like, oh, like, getting ready for the morning, like stretching, and the middle of his head is just shaved. And the kids are like, Dad, look what the elf did. I thought that was pretty funny. Speaking of holiday themes, getting in the mood, I would say our household got into the holidays very early this year. Our tree was up like November 15th. Maybe we were really early this year. Are you guys a December 1st family and that's it? Or do you guys get into it early?
We put it up a little bit early because we put it up right before we came out to see you.
Okay.
So we didn't have to do it the day we got back. So we did a little preemptive. But
there you go.
Tom, we've gone a little further in this household. We now have 2 trees.
You have 2 trees.
Yeah.
Can you explain this to me?
Suburban. Yeah, my very suburban, beautiful wife has done the very suburban wife thing. And now we have one in the front room in her office and then one in the back. And I'm sure next year, who knows where the next one will go. But
I've never heard of this. I didn't know 2 trees was a thing.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I can barely fit 1 tree in my house. You guys have 2 trees.
First world problems. How do we decorate our 2 different trees?
And what I want the people listening, and I promise you we'll get to real estate in a second here. What I want the people listening is to let us know in the comments, what is your number 1 holiday movie that when you watch it, it makes you feel good? Steve, do you have a top list of Christmas holiday movies that you watch with the kids?
I do the whole round, but usually on Christmas Day, we do Christmas Vacation, which is by far still the best. Elf is a close second, but Christmas Vacation is still the one to go.
We've been really getting into the 2018 animated version of The Grinch. Our little guy loves that movie, so we've been watching that a lot. And then if you got to throw in a sobby one, right? Love Actually is just a classic.
I've never seen that.
Really? I think you'd actually like it. It's a good movie.
Sounds like a stupid title.
So it's a good movie. Just watch it. All right. So hopefully everybody listening is
going to watch Die Hard soon.
Die Hard, yeah, that's definitely a classic. Is Die Hard a Christmas movie?
100%.
Okay. The case is closed, people. Yeah. Now, one of the things that me and you had done at the beginning of this year is one of the kind of staple videos on our YouTube channels is to predict how the real estate market is going to look the upcoming year. And then we can go back and we can review those predictions and find out how terribly wrong we were. Are you willing to let the people know what you said was going to happen in 2023 versus what actually happened?
Can I remember what I said?
Do you want me to start?
Do you remember what I said? Did you watch my video?
No, I remember what I said. I don't remember what you said.
Oh, okay. Well, you start then.
Okay. So I said very clearly my first prediction was that there was going to be more transactions, more sales taking place in 2023 than 2022. And the reason behind that is that last year in the Greater Toronto real estate market, we had 75,000 transactions. And our 10-year average is closer to like 85 to 90,000. I was like, we had 8 rate hikes this year. Next year's not going to be that bad. More confidence will come back to the market. Well, Steve, I was wrong. There was only 65,000 transactions in 2023. So we had statistically the lowest year in 20 years for sales volume.
Whatever. I don't know.
Okay, so there's no
whatever. It's slow. It's slow. Tom Storey. It's slow. It's slow everywhere. The board put out something here in my area that November was like the second slowest November. They actually said it wrong. They said it was like the 9th slowest November, which actually means the second slowest November. But guess when the slowest one was?
2000
in the last 10 years.
10 years?
In the last 10 years.
You guys had a weird year. Was 2016 your weird year, or was it 2019?
Last year.
Oh,
last November was the slowest November in the decade. And they're like, second slowest November in the decade. It's like, oh, okay, well, whatever. Yeah, so I don't know. It's slow. It's there's still transactions happening. Something that we just saw happen is on the same day. So I have 3 listings that have, time of year. We're not, we haven't done any price changes on them or anything like that. And they're just nothing. And then all 3 get an offer on the same day.
Good offers?
They're grinds.
Okay. Like things that will come together after a while, or just no chance?
They're not ridiculously like low
Okay.
balls or anything like that. There may be
Okay.
circumstances where they don't come together. But like the offers all came in on properties that were sitting. And I think because we've dropped something like 17 or 18% in inventory in the Fraser Valley board within like a week.
Mm-hmm.
We went from like 5,900 active listings to like 52 in like a matter of a few days. So people are just pulling
Taking
stuff off because the
Which
sales
we
aren't
knew
there.
was going to we knew that was going to happen. We saw
But
this coming.
December is the first one I found on record that I could see really. I mean, probably not on record, but that I looked at where December is busier than November.
Yeah, that's off. That's weird, eh?
Because why? Rates come down. 5-year
And
fixed money's coming down.
inventory comes off a bit, right? Yeah,
So
it's interesting.
you are wrong, Tom Storey, but I
was
think
wrong.
if you made that same prediction for next year, you might be right.
Yeah, I don't know. You really think we're not going to beat this year? I think this year is going to be a low point. I really do think sales volume wise, this year is going to be a low for a long time. I think we're going to beat it next year. Okay, the second prediction, and this is where I start looking really silly, is I predicted there was going to be a rate cut, a cut in the rate, Stephen, in Q3 2023.
Yeah.
That didn't happen.
Wrong as well. Okay, so this I do remember. I said that we're going to only see quarter point adjustments and that we will not exceed 5% overnight rate in the year.
Okay, so you're right.
I was correct. However, if you remember the episode we did with who was it, Leslie?
Yeah.
And we both said you're crazy if it's not going to 5.25, and turns out we were the crazy ones because it didn't go to 5.25. So
I think you were the one that said that, not me. But
yeah, but so I thought that it wasn't going to go over 5 in January.
Yep.
But then in September, I was like, we're for sure increasing again, and we didn't.
Well, and now it looks like they're holding, and then we're just waiting for that first cut to come next year, right?
It's crazier than that. Did I screenshot this today correctly or no? I don't know. Can I get into my phone in a timely manner to not make the podcast terrible? I did not screenshot it. Okay, so I meant to screenshot something, and it was Jerome Powell's quote.
Okay.
And he's basically saying, like, we're done tightening. And like this came out yesterday. He, without really mixing too many words into it, was like, we're done cutting, we're done on the hike side.
Mm-hmm.
And if anything, we'll be looking at cuts in the new year. So, and then the stock market went like crazy, right? Everything, like he said those remarks midday.
And then it went up.
And I was looking at all like the charts yesterday were like crazy.
Well, the stock market is confidence, right? That's kind of how it goes up and down.
And bond yields would like tanked again right after that.
Really? I didn't take a look at those yesterday.
Yeah, bond yields, I think when I looked, were below 3.3 Canadian 5-year. So they're coming down. So you locked in at the top for your mortgage there, Tom.
Whatever, Steve doesn't. let's move on from this, okay? I take flack from people for being the variable rate guy, and then I finally changed to fix, and now people say I shouldn't have taken a fix. So you guys
at the holiday party last night, we always go to the casino, and no matter what, everybody's like, okay,
put all your commission money on red and just cross your fingers.
No, first of all, I always put my money on black because red sucks, right? So that's fine. I put my money on black, and then everybody's like, well, you got to switch that up every once in a while. No, you don't switch it up. The whole strategy is to always stick with the same strategy.
And how many times
I'm a fixed rate guy. I should stick. Last night I was doing good for a while, and then I was like, let's keep going. I should have cashed out. My first hand, I doubled my money. I was like, let's get out of here.
Okay, so let me ask you a question. How much money did you go into the night with that you're willing to spend on gambling? What was the amount?
$50.
Okay, so you doubled it, so you had 100 at a moment in time. And how much did you leave last night with? Not taking into account the cost of drinks, but like the money you spent on gambling.
I think I walked out with $40.
Okay. So did you lose $10? Did you lose $60?
It cost me $10 to have about 45 minutes of fun. So I was fine. I was totally fine with it.
Yeah.
And I did actually walk away from the first table with $60 because I was like, what I do is whenever I gamble, this is not financial advice. No. I take, like, if I win, I take my original investment, I push it off to the side,
right?
And then I only gamble with the winnings, right? And then I lost 3 hands in a row, and that was that. Roulette is my game, though. Roulette is the one.
Well, that's like if you bought at a higher purchase price, or your home was worth more at a certain point in time, and it goes down. Well, did you lose, or
I
did the
don't
market
think
just
it's
adjust?
anything like that, Tom, but
I actually do
I
think it is like
appreciate
that.
I
I
appreciate the
do think it's
analogy.
like that. Now,
Tom Storey, Toronto real estate agent, says the real estate market is like gambling.
no, that's not at all what I'm saying. I'm saying if you double your money and then it goes back to what it was at the beginning, did you lose half of it? Well, I don't know. You kind of just ended up where you started. Prediction number 3. Fixed rates at the end of 2023 will be between 4 and 4.5%. So 0 for 3.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not terrible. You know, they're all kind of close, other than the rate cut. that was just a drive into left field. Now here's where it's.
I do remember I said prices were going to come down. I said prices were going to come down.
Isn't it funny you were wrong about something
5%.
that you wouldn't think you'd be wrong about, because that was taking the more pessimistic outlook on the market.
And when you did those, like when I was looking at it, I thought we were like in the middle of a steep correction or a crash, and we ended up being right at the end of the steep correction of the crash. Right. So when I made those predictions, I was like, okay, we're going to see another 5% down, and every asset class was between 4.5% and 6% up this year. So now these are year over year
From
numbers.
January till now,
From
or
December
from last
to December.
Okay.
So if you look at it this year in detached, it was a 6% gain, which is only 0.6 off of the average gain.
No, the average, yeah. Interesting.
Right. Now, there was a 30% crash last year, but let's not talk about that because we're real estate agents and we're not allowed to, right?
We can talk about the negative. Absolutely, we can talk about the negative. It's interesting,
no, man. We're here to pump the market. Come on, that's all we do.
Do you not now have this feeling? Now, there's people listening to this. There's people watching this. There's real estate agents listening and watching this that are trying to give sound advice to their people. Now we're at the end of 2023. We talked about this last week with Brendan, where it's like it's similar. It feels there actually seems to be more optimism now than there was definitely at the end of last year. So is this the next version of the bottom, which is funny because we're still higher than last year. So the bottom was end of last year. But how does next year start? Listings are coming off the market. Fixed rates are going down. Confidence, the new year, people make goals. January 1st, they're going to do all these things, and housing is sometimes a part of that. Are we going to have 3 months of price? So what I'm most worried about is that we start next year. We have limited inventory. There's still enough buyers that puts pressure on prices. We see multiple offers slowly funnel back into the market, and the market picks up too much steam that by April, Bank of Canada's like, nah, we're holding again. We're not going down yet.
Yeah, but they don't care about the housing market.
I know they say they don't care, but I think internally in their meetings with each other, they do care. I know they only care about inflation. I know that's the one thing. But I think they think about it.
Hey agents, a clean and easy to manage real estate website is a must. Go to realtyninja.com/Tom right now and start your site totally for free and pay nothing until you launch. And then when it is your time to go live, you will save 20% off of your entire first year just for signing up at realtyninja.com/Tom.
But do you think we've seen enough of the layoffs start? Because the layoffs are starting, right? Like you've got CBC hacking 600 people, and Royal Bank, and I think TELUS hacked like 2,500 people, but most of those were like in the Philippines or something, right? So it doesn't affect us at all. But
that's interesting. Yeah.
So I don't know. I am much more positive towards the market being, and I don't necessarily mean positive like, yay, I'm happy it's going to go up, but I do think it's probably going to be a more positive outlook next year. I'm just seeing people that are so I've got lots of people lining up to do something in the new year, come on the market.
Yep.
And none of them are financial reasons. They're all point in life reasons.
Sure.
And we're seeing people that are now happy that they're qualifying for more, and they can come back into the market because the 5-year fixed rates have come down. Right. So you're not qualifying at 8.5% anymore. You're only qualifying at, if you're lucky, 7.5%. Right. But that's a heck of a when you're trying to sneak into a $500,000 condo, that's a
Makes a
big
difference.
difference. It makes no difference on the top end. Like your payments are super expensive on that $2 million house, sure. But your qualification when you have two people buying that $2 million house, like those people are well off, so they're fine. But the qualification that happens on the low end, like was just crushing people.
Mhm.
But it's crazy because those are that's the market that actually held was our condos. Our one thing that's interesting to talk about right now, so different than you guys. Our condos are doing fine, like multiple offers on some, not all. But our condos are doing fine and our prices are holding just fine. And our detached is the one that's having trouble. And you're doing the exact opposite.
We're doing the opposite. Yeah, our condo market's taking a little bit of a beating. Like the ones we're selling are still at prices that I think are relatively good, but there's just a lot of overpriced stuff on the market, and the inventory built up so much that it's flooded with overpriced stale listings.
Well, somebody on my team was looking at a particular property and they're like, they paid this much for this at this time last year.
Mhm.
So they must be having trouble. They got to get out. And I'm like, well, think about this. They're like, why have they listed at this price? Like they're going to be losing money or whatever the situation was. And I said, wait, stop and think about this. Do the numbers for that area. And when you track it, that area was up about 4.5 or 5% in condos. Right. So they were thinking, oh, this is somebody that bought at the peak. And now I'm like, no, wait. The peak wasn't a year ago. The peak was coming up on a year and a half, almost 2 years ago.
Right.
So if you think about that, like, don't think that you're necessarily just going to pay less than that guy bought it for because he only bought it a while ago, because prices are going up. Since he bought, prices have gone up.
What I think is interesting, we had an offer accepted last night, actually at the holiday party. I was talking with my team member Amrit, and I looked back because he told me, which client of ours got the offer accepted. I went back into my emails, and I'd initially connected with this person in January of 2023, so almost 11 months ago, like almost a full year. And we've probably offered on 5 or 6 places, and he was going bargain hunting. He was an investor, which there was not a ton of investors buying in today's environment, but he was the one of them. And we just kept taking shots at stuff to see what would work out. And we got something last night at a price that I think, honestly, in 6 months even to a year from now, is going to look really, really good because on a condo. Because
Okay.
you gotta take your shots. And yes, a few people be like, get the hell out of here with that price. There's no way in hell I'm taking that. And then a few people be like, you know what? Fine. If that's honestly your best price and this is the market and they're getting advice from their, representative that says, here's what it is. So there are opportunities if you're willing to, not to say it's going to take you 12 months, but it wasn't like showing properties every day with this person, but you have patience, you know what you're looking for, you will find opportunities in this kind of slower market if you know what you're looking for. And I think that's the most important thing, but it's not going to happen in a week unless you.
Well, I have somebody that quite well right now that's making the move because we're seeing the opportunity where the detached has come down. Even since this last summer, the detached has come down, let's say my market, 150 grand. But the townhouses that they're coming from are staying very flat. So they're seeing the opportunity to save, to do the jump up.
Well, yeah, I mean, mathematically, we've talked about this a lot. A declining market is a good time if you are interested in upsizing your house, right? Because percentage-wise, not always, but if you track the numbers correctly, usually the property you're buying has come down. I bought my house 400 grand less than the similar house sold in the peak because I bought it way later. And then the house I sold for 100 grand less than a similar house would have sold in the peak. So I came out ahead, right? I think a lot of people are looking at that.
Did I tell you I got a client that came from a particular area, moved to a new area, and then when he was doing the wrong way move. So they were coming from the valley and moving towards the city more. And he did this like right at the peak. So he had to get into a townhouse instead of a detached house. So he moved from a detached to a townhouse closer to the city, but he couldn't afford the detached house here. Well, he's looking at the market now, and he reached out to me and he said, wait a minute, The detached house I could not afford 2 years ago is down $300,000 to $400,000, and my townhouse has maintained value or gone up.
And so what's he
So
gonna do?
yes, January 2nd, we're hitting the market.
Okay.
So,
All right.
so he's hitting the market and he's going, I thought I would be here, but you know what? I do want to go to the detached house. And I think I may have just saved myself $300,000.
And that's the thing, is just making sure that homeowners that listen to this at least understand what their options are. If you don't want to move, don't move, right? But if you see something that you want, just know where the numbers are at today, because I think mathematically it could make sense or could not make sense depending on your situation.
I just found your notes here about your predictions. You're a jerk.
I'm
Hey,
a
in the
jerk.
background?
Oh yeah.
You're a jerk.
Yeah. Well, can I get to that?
Okay, let's skip over the next two because they're nothings. They're okay.
Okay,
So
wait, whoa. You can't just skip over the two I was actually right about. They're not nothings. I was correct.
They were easy predictions.
Yeah, okay, that's fair, but I was right about them.
That's
Okay,
like saying, I'm going to go outside. There's going to be weather today outside.
Okay, fine. We'll go to prediction number 7, which was
No.
final.
Let's cover them real quick. You said no impact from foreign buyer ban, vacancy
Because
tax.
vacant home tax, but that was new in Toronto, so I had to discuss that. I also said there was going to be really low inventory to start the year, which there was. And then the scary news headlines, that's an obvious kind of gimme prediction, but it was actually more like it's going to be extra scary because when we were looking at February this year compared to last year, it's not going to look pretty. And we kind of went through that without any real pain. But the most important prediction is my final prediction of that video. And what I said is that my YouTube channel would reach 10,000 subscribers by April 1st, which I was wrong about. It took me till July 23rd. Happened literally on my birthday, which was kind of cool.
Happy birthday, Tom Storey.
Thank you, 6 months ago. But more importantly, I said I was going to beat Steve to 10,000 subscribers. And in that video, I put a picture of you, Steve, sipping a sour beer. I thought it was very good at editing of mine. And we did. Now, there are short victories, right? I did beat Steve to 10,000, but Steve is now beating me. So
yeah, I got my Christmas present. I just surpassed Tom Storey again. So I'll be there right until our next milestone when you shoot past me.
I think you deserve it. I've fallen off a little bit. I'm posting a lot less.
I beat Tom Storey to 11,500 subscribers. But if you're not already subscribed to our main channels, which I'm sure you are, make sure you also subscribe to this one.
Okay. Now, I have some things in a separate note that you cannot see, Steve. And I think this will be a fun little game that I think the viewers that have consumed a lot of our content this year will maybe like to play along in their car or in front of their computer or whatever they're doing. Maybe they're hanging out with friends and family. So we are now on episode, this is, I think, 85. Are we on the same track on that?
Here's what I would like people to do in the comments. Should our bonus episodes be counted as episodes? Because I don't believe they should be. I don't believe our live episode, and I don't believe our bonus episodes with Dana and with, we did one with Nolan, and we did one with Ravi. I don't think those should be counted. So personally, I would like to take out the non-regular week episodes.
My opinion, though, I think we made a mistake with the Ravi episode doing it midweek. That should have been a Sunday premiere episode. I think it would have done better on views if we had launched it on our typical time. But
we will learn from our lessons in the future.
Okay, so either way, we've done over 80 episodes now. Thank you for the people that have been here from the beginning. If you found us along the way, we just appreciate you being here. Now, Steve, I've got some trivia questions for you about this podcast. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Can you go in order our top 5 most viewed episodes on YouTube? What would you think number 1?
Viewed?
Most viewed, yep.
Oh, that's easy. So the bankruptcy episode with Randy.
Okay. Yes.
Followed by the one we just did with Cody.
Mm-hmm.
Then from there,
it's a me and you episode.
Leslie's episode.
The third one is a me and you episode. It's actually a very recent episode too.
Oh, good. And then the Leslie episode.
Yeah, Leslie was 4th.
And is it bad that I can tell by the thumbnails? There was the yellow down arrow one and the blue down arrow one. Mary Roy, maybe?
Mary was close, but not in the top 5. Actually, number 5 was investors bail and condos fall to 2019 prices, which was a me and you episode.
Hey, there you go.
So,
People like this.
Randy episode 25,000 views, Cody 14,000. Don't buy a house in Canada for investment 8,500 views, Leslie 8,200 views, and the investors bail episode just over 8,000.
Fantastic. Views. And we are just gearing up because this next year,
gearing up.
If things work out the way I'm planning them, and Tom Storey has no idea what I'm talking about, but if they do work out the way I'm planning them, we are going to crush it. Because some of the people that are starting to say, hey, what do you guys got going on over there are some pretty interesting names.
Now, for the people that do not watch us on YouTube and just hear us on audio every week, it's interesting because I feel like our audio information differs a bit from the YouTube stuff, right? Because thumbnails don't really matter and titles matter on audio, but not to the same effect. What would you guess our number one audio? Now, this is only in 2023, okay? Our number one audio episode in 2023.
It's got to be something super recent because it's actually growing at a very substantial pace. So like that is like each week is getting bigger. It's not controlled by the YouTube algorithm because those people are more, I guess you would call them loyal listeners. So I would say it's something within the last 2 or 3 weeks.
Yeah, it's the Don't Buy a House in Canada for Investment. That was our number one audio downloaded episode in 2023. Followed by number 2. Do you want to guess or you want me to just go through them?
Mary Roy.
Mary Roy is number 3.
Oh, fantastic.
That was an awesome episode. She's so inspiring. Chris Slightum was number 2. Okay. Number 4 was Canadian housing and real estate prices double every decade, which was a me and you episode.
People don't like that.
And number 5, Jonathan Cooper.
Oh, wow. Fantastic.
Yeah.
And for a lot of the year, it was Brad Lamb, I think.
Brad's kept the number 1 spot for a long time until I'd say the last 3 months our audio downloads really, really picked up.
Thank you for everyone listening on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Because nobody else listens to anything else. I get like a Google podcast review thing, and it's like 3 people have listened on Google. So if you use Google Podcasts, thank you, but time to upgrade your phone or something.
Now, here's where we're going to get into the weeds. This will be an easy one. What is the video with the most amount of likes and the most amount of comments? Because the same video had both.
It's got to be the one with the most views.
It's
Randy. I'd say Randy.
Okay. How many total views up to before this episode has come out do you think we've done on this YouTube channel only in 2023 that includes the shorts?
Total or
total
not
views.
Lifetime? Just 2023
only.
Oh, this is like a full year in review. Okay, let me think.
Yeah.
227,552.
That was weird. No, we actually did 100,000 more than that. It was 327,000.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's weird. I just put 000. I didn't put the exact numbers. But
man.
327,000 views in 2023 just on the YouTube channel.
We appreciate you.
It's amazing. Now, this is the one that's the most mind-blowing. In 2023, and this does not include the audio listeners, right? This is just people watching us on YouTube. How many hours do you think people watched my face and your face and the face of the guest who's typically in the middle of us in 2023? If you had to guess, how many hours?
Let me do a quick calculation on this because I know.
You have an idea per episode what it would be?
62,000 hours.
Oh my God. It was 61.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that was so close.
Is that not the most insane metric? In the last year, people have listened to us just on YouTube, not including any of the audio downloads, for 61,000 hours. Do you know how many years that is?
Do you know how much more they're going to watch just to watch me do this to my mustache?
That mustache is going to be gone soon. I can bet on that.
It will be gone soon.
I'll put money on red. That mustache is going to be gone soon.
All right, this is going to bore the heck out of people. Shouldn't we be talking about real estate?
Yeah, okay, I'll get back to you. Okay, final few things here, which 61,000 watch hours is equivalent to 7 years of people watching us. So in the last 1 year, people have watched us talk about real estate for 7 years. Do you know how many new subscribers we had in 2023?
2,000.
2,500.
Hey, not bad.
Yeah, this is the one everyone's been waiting for. What was our most disliked episode? The most amount of thumbs downs.
Every one that Steve was in.
Think.
Was it one with a couple of people from an association of some sort?
Yes, it was mandatory healthcare episode. And I don't think those were dislikes to us. I didn't get any personal attacks. Well, Steve might have.
I got a lot of personal attacks. And let me know, or sorry, don't let me know in the comments, but please don't let me know because I got all of your personal attacks, most of them to my Instagram, by the way.
Really?
Oh, yeah. People like realtors in Ontario like DMing me, you're a piece of shit. You don't know what you're talking about. Like just because they don't want to spend $600 a year to better their community. I do not back down on this.
I can see that.
Yeah.
Well,
if anything,
Steve, either did they, because there was another vote on this and it moved forward and it's in place now for 2024. A lot of people are not happy, but you know.
Yeah, but if a lot of people are not happy, then they did what everybody said. They went to a vote. Mm-hmm. And they said, okay, now are we moving forward? And you found out that, yes, the overwhelming people do want to move forward with it. So you can be as grumpy as you want to be about it. But I still wish I had it myself. And that is the difference in that. You can tell I'm getting heated now, right? Like literally, Tom, I had at least, without an exaggeration, because I do like to exaggerate, 20 agents reach out to me and tell me how bad of a person I was because this is infringing on their rights and all this BS, right?
Whoa.
Oh yeah. Like, it's man.
I didn't get. Well, I took a very neutral stance on that episode. I think that's
you're
why you
very vanilla, Tom Storey, and I have an opinion.
Here's an opinion, Steve, and this is what the viewers I think really want to know: just how much dough we're making on this podcast, just the amount of money coming in every week that we're just diving into like Scrooge McDuck. Okay. So just for YouTube AdSense, what do you think we've made so far in 2023 from this channel? Not channel sponsors, not any of the other stuff, but just ads on our videos.
Can I get
don't cheat.
I'm just gonna $1,500.
$2,017.85.
Yeah, and how much did we spend on shorts editing?
Oh, more than that.
$2,800.
This podcast has been a loss leader in revenue so far, but that is okay. And the final thing, I'm going to wrap this up. Steve, what percentage of the viewers coming back every single week that listen to us are subscribed versus not subscribed?
Oh, it's going up right now. 42%.
No, 66.7% of people in 2023, I don't know, like recent stuff, just the whole year, are not subscribed that watch our content.
35%, yeah.
And 33% of you are subscribed. So, hey guys,
click the subscribe button.
What do we want for the holidays? We want you to hit the subscribe button. And
I heard that people with TK and Daryl, I heard that people double subscribe.
That's not good. That means they're unsubscribing.
Well, that means they got multiple email addresses and they're double subscribing.
There you go.
I mean, either you could do that to our channel too, or Canadian Real Estate Show doesn't actually have that many subscribers, but I don't know which one it is.
Oh, we're starting beef with our friends over there?
I would never start beef. Are you kidding me? TK's a purple belt. I'm not starting beef with him ever.
That's true. Your black eye's gotten better, eh? It's not as prominent as it was last week. Yeah. It's a yellow eye now. Yeah. Okay, so that was fun. Just want to do a little recap of kind of how far the podcast has come and then the fact that we really appreciate you guys listening. Last thing. I had to bring this up. At my holiday party last night, Steve, 2 people told me that listen to the show that their favorite thing to do is they follow you on Instagram is to see you responding back to comments. Like when someone says something on your channel that
Agent, yeah.
disagrees with you and you go back and forth, they said that was the favorite thing that you do. So
Well, I
continue to
definitely,
do it.
yeah, I like to point out how stupid people are, while they're trying to point out how stupid they think I am. So who's the real dummy? I don't know. It is a lot of fun. I did have to ban some people recently on my channel. Like within the last couple of days, I've had some people that-
For what reasons though?
I mean, if you're going to call me a piece of shit, you're getting banned. Like, come on. But they're just the negativity out there. I think what's happening is that there are so many people that were cheering on the downfall.
Yeah.
Now that they're showing signs that the downfall yet again will be pushed off, that they're angry. And now they're getting mean in the comments. And so for that, YouTube has this amazing feature called hide user from channel. And I take advantage of that.
It's called YouTube jail. I also noticed when I was going through all the numbers for what we're going to talk about today is like I've been very honest about this. I don't watch real estate content on YouTube. We make our show, I make my videos, and I move on with my life. I watch tech videos, watch videos, and sports videos, soccer highlights. That's what I use YouTube for. But what kind of to your point, when I saw it had the 5 channels that our viewers also watch, like the most up-to-date channels that other people watch, and I was looking at them like, oh, well, 4 of those 5 channels are just super negative people on everything. So not that surprising that they would come over to our channel and maybe not like that we're at least being optimistic in some direction.
I think that's
things.
changing though, because I actually looked at that the other day, and the top 2 were the Looney Hour, which I would assume
Steve's
is
not
like,
negative. Yeah, he's
fantastic.
Yeah,
but I mean, they can be bearish or not, but they're
Sure.
it's good information. And then the other one was actually the BNN channel, so the business channel. I'm like, wrong. Like, what are they doing? They want real information there, and then they come over here to be like, what are the idiots saying?
Hey, I've been quoted in BNN before.
Yeah?
Yeah, man, years ago, but it happened. I've never done live stuff with them, but I've done article quotes for them.
Can I say the other thing about the funny thing? I on my main channel, I let everyone out of jail about 2 or 3 months ago, like everybody. I let them all out of jail. And then on the next video, every one of those negative people commented again. So just so you understand, if you're in jail, you don't know you're in jail. Only I do. So those people have been commenting on every video for like 1.5 to 2 years. And then nobody's been paying attention to them. And I let them out of jail and they all went negative again. And then the people that obviously have been saying absolutely negative crap that's ridiculous, right back in here. I was like, maybe I should just see what the other opinions are. I'm like, oh, the other opinions are a flaming bag of dog crap on my doorstep. So let's extinguish that again. Anyway, quite funny.
All right. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed Steve's little rant there and the fact that the show is growing, and we're going to try our best to continue to bring you the most up-to-date information about the Canadian real estate and housing market. Steve,
maybe I shouldn't shave my mustache until we reach like 5,000 subscribers. How about that?
Your wife's going to hate
you. But we'd have 5,000 subscribers. So.
That's true. Then she would think that was pretty cool. So, all right, Steve, we ran 2 polls, surveys, and we asked the public, how many times is Bank of Canada going to cut next year? And we ran, let's go over yours first. You have it in front of you.
So I did one on my channel.
Yeah. Then we'll do our channel after.
And then one on our channel. So the one from my channel says, Ben Tal of CIBC thinks that the BOC's rate move will be to cut in May or June 2024. When do you think the overnight rate will start to drop?
And?
So Q1, 2, 3, 4 are my answers, or not until 2025 or later.
Okay.
30% of the people agree with Ben Tal Q2 of next year. Another almost 30%, 29% think that it's not happening. And I think you're going to see that number continue. Around 30% of the people always say no.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So, and then it's spread out like 10 to 15% on the other ones. Q1, 12, I think is
12% of people. I'm surprised so many people click Q1. 12% of people say Q1. I don't think that's happening.
But I'm just shocked at then that leads us to the next question, which is was on the main channel, which had almost as many votes, which is sad for my channel when you think about it, because I've got 4 times the amount of people subscribe. But how much do you think the Bank of Canada will cut rates in 2024?
And very interesting, because the not at all answer on the main channel on a different survey was 32%. So, just around that 30% number that they don't think it's happening. If you combine up all the other ones, 68%. But the number one response for how much are they going to do is a full 1% at 29%. You surprised by that?
I'm shocked by that. Yeah. I do have a guess for this. I think we're going to see a 0.5 point next year. I think we're going to see 2 quarter point downturns early-ish. And then
they'll just get one done in Q2, one done in Q3, and then that's it for the year.
I think you might,
and then do the rest holds.
If things go bad, it'll be like, I don't even know when the dates are, but it'll be like Q2, and then hold and hope. I saw something. I'm trying to remember where it was. They were talking about deflation or sorry, not deflation, but I guess it would technically be deflation. But like when it starts going bad, it's really hard to also stop the other way. Like to get people spending money again is
so
just
they might have to cut pretty quick, like they went up pretty quick.
They could potentially.
Could you imagine? Sorry, keep going.
No. It's just like that's exactly what I was going to say. Could you imagine? Can you imagine a spot where it's like, oh crap, we've put the brakes on way too hard,
and then they cut 150 points in 12 months, and just we're all wrong again. Like we were wrong saying how much they were going to go up, because they went way higher than any of us thought to.
But I was reading an article that said the average economist, so they polled with everything that Jerome Powell did. They have these 19 economists that come together, do some sort of report. I don't know what the hell it really is, but there's 19 of these guys. 17 of them think that it's 3/4 points in the States next year.
Okay.
So most of the guys think it's 3/4 points, not just these 2 dummies that are here. I actually think that's too much, but I'm a person that wants to see higher interest rates longer. Like
but again, these rate cuts are really just going to get people with variable rates like out of negative amortization. Like it's that's what they're going to do. They're going to help people come down and actually start paying principal again. It's not really changing the payments.
For tenant, landlord, or homeowner insurance policies, go to squareone.ca/the Tom Storey Show. Use the link in the description. Save $20 when you start your free quote right now.
The payments aren't going to change for the people that went over the trigger rate until there's significant rate cuts. So
that still only takes your 6.5% mortgage rate now to variable to 6%.
That's what I'm saying. Like this isn't. It's just gonna. It's a little bit of relief for the people that were already feeling the most amount of pain. And then what Brandon was saying last week is that fixed rates are probably going to land in that 4.5% range, right?
Which is, I would love that.
Yeah,
I would.
Me
love
too.
That. I would love
that.
4.5% because it's gonna calm down the market from the craziness that was out there.
I was driving on a street in Toronto, and there was this big it's not even like a billboard, it's like the ones where you can like change the letters, I'm talking about, like outside like strip malls and stuff. And it just said mortgage.
A marquee, I think.
Is that what it's called?
I have no idea, but I'm gonna say yes.
It just said like mortgage, and then beside it said 5.89%, and then a cell phone number at the bottom. And it was just funny, like driving by being like, oh, like it's crazy that we're in a world that some random sign on the side of the street has a mortgage in the high 5s, and they're advertising as if it's like, hey, I got the good rate. I got the good rate. Like imagine if 2 years ago we saw that, we'd be like, is this a joke? Like, is it April Fool's? What's going on? 5.89% is the good mortgage deal right now? I don't know.
No, it's crazy time. It's crazy time. But
do you have any predictions for next year, personally, for yourself?
For myself, but gaining weight again?
No. Hey, do you want to acknowledge that? It's been a year. This episode last year is when you said
Is it?
You were going to go on a weight loss journey.
Yeah. Yeah, and I did. And I did the 40 pounds. I dropped the 40 pounds I was going to drop. And I crushed our buddy there. He actually did well. I think he dropped 20 or 25 pounds or
Great.
something like that. But obviously,
You're
I kicked
both
his
winners.
ass 'cause
You're both
that's
winners.
how yeah. So Keith, I kicked your butt. We were just texting actually the other day. We got to figure out how the payments are going to go down. But he's going to owe. I think he's already paid the food bank what he owes. But yeah, we did that. I still have to cut a check for his. Because I was paying him more per pound. But yeah, it's just tough right now, right? Like this is, like you said, the Christmas party season, man. I got one last night. I got another one. We got Christmas like now. So it's just stacking it back up, and then we're gonna have to dry out in January for sure. But I'm glad this time when we did the in person with David a couple weeks ago. That I wasn't embarrassed by how fat my head was. Right?
Your head's the most noticeable. You've like
right. Like I lost.
You've lost half of your circumference.
Yeah, and then my second pair of boobs are gone, so that's good.
That's good. That's
right.
That's what the people come here to see.
I'm back down to one pair of boobs, which is probably where I should be.
Okay, so that's personal. That's personal. On the business side of things, how are we looking at 2024? I've got some things I want to say as well. But how do you think it's going to play out?
I think we're going to see another 5% increase across the board by this time next year. That's one of my predictions. One of my predictions I had was I thought rents would soften.
Oh, I actually didn't put mine in there. I said that same thing, and I was wrong on that. I forgot to put that in the notes.
Rents did go up because I actually said, like, I was looking at my particular investment property and what it would rent for today, and I was like, it's going to be like $2,400, and I think it'll come down from there, and it's easily 26 now. So it did. Now I do think it stopped going up.
Agreed. Same.
But it also increased more than I thought it would, and it has not come down at all. So, I don't see a world right now where rents get cheaper. I don't see a world where prices come down. Unless we see for some crazy reason interest rates go back up. Like if at interest rates at 5.25 to 5.5%, we are fine. Because everybody qualified there. There will be some people that will be in bad shape or whatever, but generally we'll be fine. At 6.5% in 4 or 5 years, we'd be in a really bad spot.
Well, we still have to wait to see what happens with all the renewals. That's still the last little thing of like, well, you guys are not out of the woods yet. There's people renewing at much higher rates, and that pandemic savings that we all talked about is gone. It's gone. Yeah. People spent that money. They overpaid for Rolexes, and they
they definitely
and vacations.
But I don't have the sadist in me doesn't have a ton of sympathy, right? I've always been a saver. I've always been somebody that pays down. I don't carry debt. And the people that have made those silly decisions to do that. I mean, I was looking at something like a report on debt, not non-mortgage debt, non-housing debt.
Okay.
And it's now 15% of after-tax money goes to paying off bad consumer debt.
Really?
And I'm like, oh, so I have 15% more money than everybody then, because I have no consumer. Well, I guess we got one car payment now because the car died this year. But like, that's literally the only thing. We got a $475 a month car payment or whatever it is, and that's it. Other than that, there's no payments.
But do you not consider your expenses, and I know you get rent for it, but your expenses to run, I'm not talking about the mortgage for the investment property, but like the maintenance fee and the taxes on that. Is that not? I know that's not debt, but it's a payment.
It all covers though.
Yeah.
Right? Like somebody was trashing me the other day saying, well, you're not going to have any sales and you're not going to be able to make your payments. And I'm like, guys, I've been investing in real estate now for a long time. My property, my principal residence is covered by the rental that I've put in.
Hmm.
So it cost me $0 to live. Now, of course, there's heating and property taxes and blah, blah, blah. But my mortgage payment is 0 and my rental property covers. So let's say I do have to renew. I need to go from my 2% rates up to 6%. What am I going to do? I'm going to be into these properties for $1,000 a month. Like that's what you can't rent a 1-bedroom apartment for that much.
No, it's wild what the rental prices have done.
So there's way less people in a bad spot than we like to think that there is. All the people that have the time to comment on YouTube that are saying how unaffordable stuff is, that have the low skilled jobs, those people are hurting for sure. But all of the other people that have gone to work and have good jobs and sorry, I don't mean it that way. I mean like increase their skills
Okay.
and have been in real estate for a long time. And like all these people are fine. Somebody was saying, oh, the average house can't be $2 million. No, it can be because lots of people buy $2 million properties with $200,000 mortgages.
Well, right. But that's because they own properties before that.
Of course. Or they have other money, investments, whatever. So it's totally doable. And there's not as many people in rough shape financially, I think, as many people hope there would be.
Well, not on the surface level. I'm not seeing it. I'm not listing any properties right now that people are like, okay, one.
I mean, there's going to be those cases. I mean, I did talk to a financial planner the other day, and he said now, out of all of his clients, he's had 2 come to them to withdraw money to pay for their kids' mortgage.
Yeah, so maybe that's the thing. Maybe people are getting help from their parents to make their mortgage payments. And we're
Now
just
he's
not.
like, he thought it would be way more widespread by now.
Right.
But he takes care of high net worth individuals, and he's like, he's had now 2. But I mean, out of how many hundreds of clients, I don't know.
But those are high net worth individuals. It's the people that are not high net worth that are probably having more of the issues.
Oh, for sure.
Right.
For sure. If you're not, if you've gone through your life not improving your skills and you chose to rent because you thought the market was going to crash in 2016, you're screwed.
Okay, so let's fast forward to today. Okay, let's say the end of 2023 is the same as 2016. Who knows? Probably won't be. We're not going to see price growth at that rate. I hope for everybody's sake. You never know though. So there's people listening to this right now. And I've seen a few comments recently where someone's like, yeah, I know things are changing, but like, I'm still going to wait. I'm just going to wait. I'm like, all right, man. Like, I hope you find the moment when you feel comfortable to make that decision. But I don't know. I look at right now, if it on like a surface level, okay, take everything else out of it. Rates are going down. Inventory is going down. What's going to happen? Prices are going to moderately go up in value this year with rates going down. And then you get into that property and yes, renting a place is way cheaper than owning a place right now. Yes. But in 10 years, that won't be the case.
I just always, another comment, all these comments where somebody's like, yeah, I've been renting since 2010 and now I'm screwed. I'm like, yeah, but you're screwed because you've been renting since 2010. Right? Like that's why you're screwed, because you didn't secure a price back then that you thought would come down.
But I
and
think
then you could have been paying off for 13, 14 years now.
But you don't know what maybe they owned real estate and they went through a divorce and they couldn't afford on their own and they had to rent something and then life happens and then it's 10 years later. You know, it's not like everyone's purposely trying to put themselves in that position, right?
Okay, let's do this experiment.
Okay.
Let's say, for instance, you and I both end up, our wives smarten up and they realize that we're realtor scumbags and they leave us tomorrow.
Okay.
Are you renting?
Am I renting?
Yeah.
No.
You're doing whatever it takes to own again your own property?
Yes, but that's because I know what I know. But not everybody that has that situation happen to them listens to any type of content that is real estate or finance based. They're just living their lives. This is a horrible moment of their lives. Maybe there's kids involved in this. They have to, or they keep the primary residence and they rent another property. And like, it's, there's so many different variables that I don't think we can put a blanket statement over them and just say like, yeah, well, you should have owned. It's like, I think most of the people are like, yeah, I know I should have owned. Yeah, damn right. 10
No,
years
they don't.
later,
No, they
some
don't.
do. Some, well, the comments we've had though are saying like, yeah, we agree with what Steve is saying. I have been renting and now here's my situation.
If you're screwed now because you chose to rent for the last 10 years, you're more screwed in 10 years. So guess what? You got to find a way to make something work. You have to find a way to make something work.
Does home ownership have to be the option though for people? Can it not be something else? Can they not continue renting and go do something?
You can do whatever you want.
Right. That's what I'm trying to get at. It's like, it's the safest option, right? My comment that got me absolutely roasted was that many Canadians became wealthy by mistake by owning real estate. It's kind of true.
No, wrong.
Everyone's
always owned real estate. But
the price significance. Now I know the 4-year average is 6.5% a year, but that compounding on $1 million, not 200 grand, is different, right? I didn't buy the properties that I bought at the time that I bought them and expected them to be worth what they are today, even with the change in prices.
No.
Did you think your house was going to be worth what it's worth today when you bought it at this point in time?
I remember the day I bought my house, I said to someone that lives down the street, I said, I just hope it goes up 10% before it comes back 5%.
And it's gone up.
That was it.
100%?
It has gone up way more than 100%.
Yeah.
So, but that's the thing, that's what happens. So you have to put yourself in the position where you empower yourself for the future and you own something, because this is my biggest thing that I'm just like going crazy on people for. By retirement, you have to own your property free and clear. Whatever that property is, that might be a 1-bedroom apartment, but you have to own a property free and clear by retirement, or you will be a slave for the rest of your life. And then, oh, you're going to be a slave to your mortgage payments the whole time. Cool story, guy. Work towards something, right? You have to pay it off. You have to get to a spot where you don't have a payment when you retire, or you're going to be working till you're 85 years old. And you can be as angry at the world as you want to be. But guess what? You got one person to blame, and it's the person you're looking at in the mirror every day. And I look at this beautiful mustache in the mirror every day.
Well, I hope that inspired everybody and put you in a nice holiday mood as you're going into your dinner tonight with your friends and family. Uncle Finance Steve's yelling at you. I mean, listen, I agree. I think homeownership is a wonderful thing. It's been great for me and my family. I know it's been great for you. And I've watched a lot of clients along the way. Not to say that I'm the reason that they did so well, but like I gave them advice at the moment from what I knew, and they got into the market, and now they're in a better financial position.
Let's focus less on that. So, your job, I think, Tom, we are more transactional than people think, right? We are here to facilitate the deal.
Yeah, when they want to do something, we'll help with it. Yeah.
Like, I think a lot of these guys think that when they get an agent, their agent's going to like miraculously get them into a 20% savings in the market, or tell them the right time to buy to save 20%. That's not what we do. We facilitate the transaction in the marketplace that's in front of you right now. And I still believe, maybe I don't know if I've ever said this on here, but 90% of my job is writing an enforceable contract that doesn't end up in lawsuits.
Yeah.
That's 90% of what I do. Everybody's like, oh, do you like the kitchen? Yeah, whatever, man. The kitchen's the kitchen. My job is, and then the other half, or 10%, that's my math on that. The other 10% is only worried about like the cash. And it's like, okay, if you think that that's what the job is the market. You're going to pay within 1.5 or 2% of market value at any time, anywhere, always.
Yeah.
You're never going to end up, unless you go to the sticks and you buy something out in, Timbuktu somewhere, and then those properties are not liquid. But in a metro area, my job is, let's avoid the lawsuits and get you into a building, if it's a condo, that's not going to cost you money, massive maintenance problems, all that stuff. That's what we're avoiding. right? That's what our job should be the focus of, is to write good contracts. Really.
When you, when you get riled up and you shake your head, the little bells jingle.
Merry Christmas, everyone. Can
you
we
and
go
I,
overtime? Do you have time? Do you have time?
Yeah, I got time. Yeah.
Okay.
I want to say something. So this is more in a client conversation.
You actually
basis.
can say something because it's called the Tom Storey Show.
I keep
You can
forgetting
actually
that.
say whatever you want to
I
say.
keep forgetting that. Thank you for reminding me. So my conversation when the market was trending upwards with clients was, here's what you need to know about the market. And then it always comes down to the end of it. Well, why would I work with you versus somebody else? And I'm not going to bore the viewers today with a 60-minute presentation on what we do and how we do things. But I would just basically show them, listen, I'm not here to talk down about anybody else, but I track my numbers versus the market. And then I know that if you list with us, this is not my thought or my theory. This is based on facts and information, that I'm beating the market by 5%. And that's because we invest into your property, we stage it, we make it look really good, and I can get you a higher sale price because I have the data to back it up. It was a very kind of easy conversation. How that's flipped these days is yes, those numbers are still mathematically true, but it's basically like, hey, Steve, the reason that you should be hiring me if you want to sell your property is because I am actually selling my listings right now. I can get you sold. 85% of the listings on the market, this is a condo reference, are not selling every month. So the reason you should choose me now in this market is because I'm going to give you the actual advice you need to get it sold. If you don't like the number it's going to take to get it sold, that's okay. You don't sell. It's cool. But it's completely changed these conversations we're having. It used to be like, well, anyone could sell it, but I'll get you more. And now it's like, actually, most people, they're not even selling.
Yeah.
So you can list your house or you can sell your house.
Yeah. I've been doing some trainings with just agents, longtime agents, new agents. And I think I know I take for granted the skills of a good agent, and I'm going to put myself in that category. I do think that there's a lot that we do that we don't even think we do. And a lot of it's because we are involved in organizations where we're trying to better our business. Right. And there's a lot that just, honestly, when you're talking to them, like we were in an office meeting and somebody said, well, I advised them. I was like, you need to sell first week of January and you need to be the best buyer when the market picks up. And what one of those agents heard was, well, you're telling your client to sell at the bottom. And I'm like, well, in a way, yeah, you sell at the bottom, but you also have to look at it and go, well, do you want to buy at the top? Right? It's because that's what you're doing. You're making the move in the sale. So you have to be able to have this conversation and say, listen, how are you going to buy in that frenzied spring market that I think is coming? How are you going to buy in that if you don't have your home sold?
But you can't.
You can't do it. Or you buy first and you take a massive risk on what your mortgage payments, massive risk.
Yeah.
Right? So if the money's tight, you can't do that. So you do have to put yourself in a position where you can be the one that sells. And my trick is always, and this is a trick, this is something a good agent will do. They will encourage you to be on the market in the first 2 weeks. In my market, I shouldn't say Edmonton or Calgary or anywhere else because I don't know how it works there. But in my market, if you are on the market in the first 2 weeks of January, you are almost the only show in town.
Yep. Everyone else
if you're the only show in town, you get sold because everybody's motivated. The buyers are motivated. This is the year I'm going to move. The agents are like, I had a terrible year last year, so I'm going to put this year together, and they're motivated for solid 2 weeks. And you get the deals together at the beginning, and now you negotiate. What's the easiest thing to negotiate? The long close. It's the easiest
long close.
part of the deal to negotiate. I need 90 days. Cool. No problem. Well, how about this price? Deal. Let's do it. So you negotiate the long close. And now when the listings start glutting on Valentine's Day for the following month after that, you're the best buyer and you have the ability to act on your next home.
So that's all well and good. And I agree with everything that you're saying there, but that's if you have a property to sell. So let's go through, if we're going to run long here, let's just do it. Okay. I'm a first-time home buyer. Okay. I have learned recently through listening to this podcast and many others that the stress test is not going to change. It's going to be 2 basis points higher than the rate. They're not changing it. Okay.
No shot.
So I'm qualified right now, or I've been talking to the bank. Maybe it's not official yet, but I've gone through the motions. I want to buy a property in the next 90 to 120 days. What do I do? Do I not wait until there's more inventory on the market in February, in March, or do I go out there in January when there's slim pickings? Because I think the real answer is like, take a look at what's sitting on the market right now and take some shots at things at low prices and see if they'll take them. But what do you do if you don't have a property to sell?
Smart. Yeah, these months.
Yeah, December buys are going to look good. I think so.
They're going to look good. I think January's buys will probably still look good. What are you going to do though? So do you want to pick from these now when you've got less to pick from, but there's also less buyers out there? Or do you want to wait until more comes on?
But more buyers.
And there's going to be more buyers out there as well, because we all know the good products, even in a crappy market, the good products are still going to go into multiple offers. So which way do you want to go about it? I think you're in a really good spot right now where your rates are coming down, but most people don't know it yet. So you haven't seen the price appreciation come back yet.
Right.
So there's a good chance that early in the year is going to be some really good opportunities for people. I just think the risk in the market either going up or down is just if you're not doing it at the same time. You'd be the people that I feel sorry for are the people that sell and they are guessing that the market's going to come down. The market takes off, they go to rent for 6 months or a year, and then they're
screwed. Yeah.
Right. Like you got to be floating the same tide, right? Otherwise, you might find out you're not wearing pants.
Last topic I want to bring up here is that we've seen a lot of people in our industry change companies that they work for.
Huge right now. And at our party last night, there was noticeable, what I consider good longtime agents changing companies. Some have left our brokerage, some have come onto our brokerage, but just people switching brokerages. It's crazy.
There was so many new faces at our office party last night. I got to meet a lot of people, but like we have our company has started expanding even more than before with good agents coming over to us.
Well, I was so impressed with what Signature has going on, right?
Oh yeah, they're the top.
Like if I'm in Toronto, I'm for sure that's the brokerage, 100%.
Yep.
But I feel that way about my brokerage where I am now. But it's just like I've been thinking about these things, and I know like some of the agents we know that are switching brokerages right now, some of the top producers that are switching brokerages right now that I just know like peripherally, is that the right word? In my market, and I'm just like, I think a lot of them are looking for answers to what was a tough year. And I think my personal opinion is if you look at the company not being the right fit for you, it's probably not the company.
Yeah.
Right? Like that's
top
how
producers will be top producers at any company. Right? Having extra support and training absolutely makes a
difference.
But
if you're failing at one company, you're probably failing at the other company.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's what I mean more of. That I think there's a lot of people that are looking for like this secret thing to like this brokerage will save me, or something popular happening right now. This brokerage, I can make an extra income stream out of this, and I don't have to worry about selling so many properties, right? Which I think I'm not a fan of, which we've talked about a million times. But there are people looking for they're looking for something, whatever that something is, and they think hanging their license at a different brokerage is going to give them that something. And I think it's so misguided.
Well, I mean, sometimes you just need a shift in environment and motivation level, and sometimes making that change can just feel like a fresh start as well, which some people will need and maybe thrive under. There was someone, obviously I'm not going to say any names, but someone that I see from afar. I'm not really friends with them, but like I see them on social, and they've they've changed companies. Like I keep seeing announcements on their page. It's like 3 times a year. I'm like,
Yeah.
what's going on here? Like, pick a company.
This is what I mean.
Yeah.
This is what I mean, right? Like I've seen people that have blown up their teams, and I mean they're still doing business, but they blow up their team, and then after blowing up their team doesn't work, then they restructure, and then they blow up their team again, and then they switch companies, and it's just like, guys, I don't think you're doing the right move here. I think you got to look internally a little bit.
But I do think there's also some people that had your viewpoint on some of the newer models, the cranky old man viewpoint, that have become enlightened and are now being like, actually, I just said those things because that was my opinion. But now that I'm looking at it, it actually looks pretty good. Like Matt Leonetti is a great example. He was on our show and we kind of made jokes about those brokerages. He just made a big move to Real, and I think it's perfect for his brand. I think it makes total sense. The video he put out announcing it was like, it was awesome.
Next level. It was so good.
Awesome. But it's like, I told him when he was going over there, I was like, you should put out a video of all the times you've talked shit about those companies and put it together and then announce that you've gone there. He didn't end up doing it that way. Obviously, he did this other video, but I don't know. You know, maybe one day you'll be cracked, Steve. Maybe one day these new models will get to you, and you'll be like, you know what? That looks pretty good. But here's the thing: for the consumers listening to this that don't give a crap, I never get a referral from a client being like, hey, you got to work with Tom. He works for this company. It's never, ever that.
Yeah.
Ever.
Yeah.
So the broker, so I think so for the consumers listening to this, the company that your real estate agent works for is for the benefit of your real estate agent for the most part. They've chosen that company because it helped them get the services. Now that will then help them give you better, service on the client to client level, but I don't think the service level changes versus what company your person works at. That's them as a person. They're an independent contractor.
Can I piss off the other half of the agents in Ontario though that don't like me already because of the benefits thing?
Why not just make all the
might as well keep going here.
Agent referrals wasn't a pillar of business you're looking for 2024?
Agent referrals is not high on my income stream. But if you'd like to send me a referral right now, I'd appreciate it. I think more than anything, if you work from home as an agent and you are not an office agent, your chances of success are diminished by 3 times at least. If you are, so I'm seeing now some agents, young agents, starting to come into the office, and those are the agents that are getting the opportunities. It's kind of scary. And it's also like I've got another board thing going on here. I've been at the board so many times with the volunteer stuff and taking classes and stuff recently. And the amount of involvement there too is so low. And so all of these people, I was actually talking to a broker about this last night at the party. I was like, well, all these people, like, I don't know what they do with their day. What do they do? Because they're not in the office. It's not like they're door knocking for 8 hours.
Well, don't we have an idea of what it takes? We won't say it, but what it takes to become a top 10% realtor in Vancouver? It's not a whole lot of home sales these days.
I think the Fraser Valley board might be like 7 deals this year, 8 deals. Like to be top 10%, like it's pretty terrible.
But basically, to do the numbers on that, that's like survival. You're not going to survive unless you do that many. I don't even know if you can survive at that many transactions with the costs involved of running the business.
Yeah, you can't.
No.
Yeah, I don't know. But I mean, get into the office. I mean, nobody ever says
I could not agree with you more on that. I look around and every single person that shows up to our office consistently does the business. Yep.
Yeah. Yep. Of course. So that's why I don't think now a lot of people we do know that have gone to virtual brokerages,
they still have offices.
They're getting their own office space.
Yeah.
But I think you're going to fail as an agent if you work from home. I just think that's my opinion. I don't think you're going to be a super success. And
I don't think you're going to fail. I don't think you're going to fail. I just think you could have better results. No, you won't fail if you work from home. I think that you have a higher ceiling you could get to if you show up to the office and have the structure and get the energy every day from your colleagues. I would agree.
Let me rephrase that. More people that work from home every day will fail than people that go to the office every day.
Okay, that we can agree upon. You know what else I can agree upon is that we have gone much longer than usual in this episode. If you stayed till the end, we really, really do appreciate it. Steve, you got any holiday fun? Anything happening with the family over the next little bit?
I mean, we got all our traditions. We do all the different houses, and there's grandparents involved, and we've got all that stuff. No, it's a great time trying to relax, and it doesn't look like it's happening because December is busier than November. I should have had Christmas in November. It would have been a better plan.
I took my vacation in November. I really timed this out well. I'm sticking in the city. It actually worked out perfect.
Yeah. How about you guys? First Christmas in the new place?
First Christmas in the new place. Got a bunch of family dinners coming up, and we actually take a different approach. We on Christmas Eve, so like tonight, what we'll do is we will actually watch a movie, but it's not a Christmas movie. We pick just a movie to watch, and then we watch the other stuff leading up to it. So we'll figure out what we're going to watch tonight. And
we do have something we do. I do, and I picked this up from my wife's family, is always a puzzle out on the coffee table. And it takes time. Like we'll get like 1,000-piece puzzle, and then like you'll be sitting there and you'll do some pieces, and then somebody will bugger off and go get the appetizer. Somebody else comes by and puts in 1 or 2 pieces. So it's kind of a communal spot to be. But this year, because the kids are kind of involved, I think we've done 3 puzzles already this year.
Oh, well,
we're starting our
puzzles.
Yeah,
you should get like a funny one where you make the puzzle a picture of something. You make a custom puzzle.
We could do that. Should we do a Tom Storey Show puzzle?
Yeah. By the way, I didn't get to bring it up, and we're gonna wrap this up now. But we're gonna do some giveaways in the new year on the podcast with some pretty cool things. So stay tuned for following episode. Yep.
That?
We're going to do something. Yeah, it's going to be fun. So
I looked into swag and I was all hyped and excited. And then I realized to do something like ship a mug, it would be like a $35 mug. And I don't think that is a smart decision for anyone to buy. So swag will not be coming.
No, we'll find another alternative for swag.
Like the cost to us for like a hoodie not printed yet was like $45 plus the printing plus the shipping, and I was like, nobody's gonna pay $85 for a hoodie. So like, no, we're not doing that.
What we got to do, I have another supplier I've been using with my team, and we can pre-order stuff. But the beautiful thing with what you had done is that we don't have to pre-order stuff. It's all done in one place. But we'll figure something out. Steve, this was fun. I hope everybody listening has an amazing Christmas Eve if you celebrate with your family and your friends. And we appreciate you being here. And we're going to keep showing up every single week and making this podcast as good as we possibly can. Have an amazing holiday season. Bye.
Merry Christmas.